Welcome to my channel SciFi Love Story. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe. The Deathworld Summit was never meant for weak species. It was a gathering of the galaxy's toughest, most brutal, most evolution-forged survivors. Beasts whose home planets tried to murder them every day, crushing gravity, toxic storms, apex predators lurking behind every breath. They called these species the Deathworlders. Humans, they were considered barely above prey animals. A fragile anomaly that somehow discovered spaceflight before being naturally culled. The only reason humans received an invitation to the summit was political pressure and morbid curiosity. The Summit Council wanted to see the species that had spread so fast despite being objectively unfit to survive. A viewing of the galaxy's newest cosmic joke. The Summit Hall was colossal, a ring-shaped stadium floating above the volcanic moon of Zar Prime. Lava rivers glowed orange far below. The air shimmered with heat. The architecture looked like teeth closing around a meal. Representatives of every Deathworld species filled the tiered seats. Towering Charik warclaws, armored Sultai beetle knights, telekinetic Exuri mantles, flame-immune Dravik star salamanders, and more. They all turned as the human delegation stepped onto the stage. 3 humans. That was all Earth could afford to send. Captain Elena Reyes walked at the front, calm and upright in her Navy uniform. Behind her, Dr. Arthur Linden, thin, bespectacled, recording everything with a curious smile. And Private Tamal Singh, young and twitchy, armored lightly with only a stun baton. Whispers rippled through the audience. Look how soft their skin is. They don't even have exosocials. This is the species that killed an empire. Impossible. Reyes ignored them. She stepped to the speaking platform and pressed the translator node to her collar. We thank the council for its invitation, she announced. We hope to build peaceful relations with all worlds. Laughter erupted. Peace was weakness. Peace was prey talk. The council's high chair, a massive being resembling a plated rhinoceros with glowing axe mandibles, slammed its staff against stone. Humans, you claim Deathworlder status, it rumbled. Prove it. Survive the gauntlet of worlds. Reyes frowned. That wasn't mentioned in the briefing. Survival is the briefing. Before she could protest, spears of containment energy shot up around the human trio, forming a glowing cage that sank them into an arena below. Dr. Linden whispered, voice trembling yet fascinated, well, that escalated quickly. The first trial, gravity. The arena floor slammed beneath them with crushing weight. Singh gasped and dropped her on. E-knee. Gravity increased, 7 times Earth standard, Dr. Linden wheezed. The walls opened, releasing a stampede of gorilla-like brack beasts, bones like iron and muscles rippling under boulder-gray skin. They're testing if we can stand, Reyes said, pushing herself upright tooth by tooth. On your feet, soldier. Singh roared and obeyed. Reyes grabbed a metal anchor spike implanted in the ground and ripped it free, muscles burning, joints threatening to tear. She swung it like a warhammer, smashing the first charging brack in the knee. It collapsed screaming. Linden, sweating bullets, pulled out a vial from his satchel, pressurized oxygen stimulant, and injected himself. His lungs expanded enough to breathe. He threw another vial, shattering it at a brack's feet. A burst of capsaicin-like vapor made the creature howl and retreat. Reyes cracked skulls with the spike. Singh fought with savage knees and elbow strikes, using his own momentum because lifting his arms too high might dislocate his shoulders under the weight. Humans towered above the corpses when the gravity suddenly normalized. Reyes spat blood. That all you got? The audience's amusement faded into silence. The second trial, fear. The arena plunged into darkness. Shapes slithered above. Chittering mandibles echoed. Singh whispered, Captain, I hate spiders. These aren't spiders, Linden muttered. These are night reavers. They eat fear, literally. Huge, multi-limbed hunters dropped from the ceiling, eyes glowing sickly green, their psychic aura pressed into human minds like a claw, scraping at terrors buried deep. Linden froze, seeing his father's deathbed, alone and helpless. Reyes saw the faces of crew she'd lost in war, asking why she couldn't save them. Singh saw himself buried alive, his worst childhood nightmare. But humans did something the Night Reavers didn't expect. They leaned in. Singh's fear flooded into anger. He screamed and tackled the creature twice his weight, slamming it into a jagged stalagmite. Reyes grabbed a fallen Reaver limb and stabbed another through the jaw. Linden, tears falling but smiling, triggered his recording drone's floodlights, dispersing shadows that fed the monsters. Without darkness, the Reavers shrieked and crawled back into ventilation shafts. The lights rose again. The grandstand was silent. Reyes panted, "Humans don't run from fear. We weaponize it." The third trial, pain spike vines erupted from the ground, dripping with paralyzing venom. The humans had no weapons left, no hacking devices, no antidotes. The goal was clear: endurance. Pain tested not muscle, but spirit. The vines slashed skin, hot poison burning through nerves. Singh screamed and swung wildly. Linden collapsed but crawled a NY way, face twisted in agony. Reyes gritted her teeth, refusing to fall. She recognized the test. Deathworlders prized physical invulnerability, but humans evolved suffering into survival. Pain is the teacher that never leaves. She stood tall in the tearing vines, blood streaming. "We survive," she whispered. "We always survive." The vines retracted. The poison halted. The arena floor rose. Back to the council. Judgment. The Deathworld High Chair stared down with new calculation, not mockery. "These trials are designed to reveal true apex beings," it growled. "How did naked, soft-skinned creatures defeat what has killed armies?" Reyes met its gaze. "You built your strength reacting to hostile worlds," she said. "We built ours reacting to each other." Confusion rippled around. "In our history, we faced predators, disasters, and ourselves. War, disease, famine. Our species should never have lived long enough to discover fire." She paced as the translator broadcast every word. "We bled, we cried, but we never stopped." A Charik warrior clicked its claws. "But your bodies break easily. Your bones snap." Reyes smiled grimly. "Yes, and then they heal, stronger." A Dravik hissed, "Fire, you fear everything." "And still," she replied, "we charge forward. Fear makes us careful, pain makes us clever, weakness makes us adaptable." Linden stepped up beside her. "Name a species that thrives everywhere: frozen poles, blistering deserts, oceans, mountains, even space. We're the galaxy's most successful invasive species." Chuckles, "Uneasy ones." Singh added, "You all survive despite hardship. We survive because of it." The high chair's mandibles twitched, uncertain. "Finally, humans. You are Deathworlders." Thunderous murmurs spread, all replacing ridicule. "But know this," the high chair continued, "if you ever turn your ferocity against the summit." Reyes cut him off gently. "We won't start fights." She let her smile sharpen. "But we'll finish them." Aftermath, a different kind of diplomacy. As the hall emptied, a young Exuri diplomat approached the humans. "You should have died," it said. "No logic predicts your survival." Reyes laughed. "Welcome to humanity." The Exuri tilted its head. "We seek alliance." Across the chamber, others gathered, leaders of species that once scoffed at humanity. Warriors wanted training. Scientists wanted study. Generals wanted partnership. Humans, underestimated and overlooked, had just become the most respected species in the galaxy. Not because they were the strongest, but because they were the species that refused to fall. Epilogue, a human truth. Later, as their shuttle departed, Singh exhaled shakily. "Captain, we could have died a dozen times." Reyes nodded. "We probably should have." Linden chuckled. "That's humanity's motto. We shouldn't exist, yet here we are." Singh smirked. "So, what now?" Reyes stared out at the stars, countless Deathworlds waiting. "Now," she grinned, "we show the galaxy what a real mistake looks like, if they push us again." Earth's flag fluttered on their screens. A warning, a promise. Humans may break, but humans always get back up. High above the volcanic moon of Zar Prime, the once mocking Deathworld Summit had transformed into something else entirely, a war council. And humanity, the soft-skinned anomaly, was suddenly at the center of everything. Captain Elena Reyes, Dr. Arthur Linden, and Private Tamal Singh walked through the polished obsidian corridors of the Summit Citadel as envoys of every apex species followed close behind. Respect replaced ridicule. Curiosity replaced contempt. Fear replaced dismissal. Humans were no longer a spectacle. They were a threat, a mystery, a potential equal. And threats must be understood, or contained. The darkness gathering the high chair of the council called them forward. The creature's molten eyes simmered with newfound concern. "Humans," it rumbled, "our summit faces extinction." Dr. Linden exchanged a look with Reyes. He whispered, "That wasn't in the brochure either." A holographic star map flickered to life, thousands of glowing systems painted in brilliant color, until whole sectors darkened one by one. "Something is devouring worlds." Private Singh leaned forward. What do you mean, devouring? A voice like hissing sand answered from the shadows. They erase. They consume physical matter and biological memory alike. The one who spoke, Rexuri Seer, slithered into view, its crystalline limbs trembling. They are called the Oblivion Swarm. Entire star clusters were grayed out on the map. Billions of lives, gone. No ruins, no survivors, not even dust. Why are you telling us? Reyes asked. A Charik war general snarled, offended. Because when you see a burning forest, you don't ignore the spark that survives the flames. This swarm, the high chair continued, has reached our borders. And you humans, you resist the impossible. We need that ability now. Reyes folded her arms. So we were invited not for diplomacy, but as weapons. Lyndon muttered, classic politics. Sing, Captain, do we fight? Reyes stared at the dying stars. We don't abandon allies, even new ones. She stepped forward. Tell us how to kill them. Fearful alliances. The council chambers burst into uproar. Humans, volunteering for war. Madness, boldness, hope. The Dravic Flame Lord slammed its tail in approval. You have the fire of Deathworlders. But your resources are scarce. That's why we form a pack. Reyes replied. Strength shared becomes survival. The high chair's mandibles clacked. Then we shall bind this moment in the Great Archive. The Deathworld Pact is forged. The summit floor thrummed with seismic energy, a treaty written not on paper but into the laws of their galactic alliance. And then alarms blared. The pact was forged just in time. Oblivion arrived. Sonic tremors shook the citadel. Atmosphere warped as if torn by fangs. The sky turned black, then peeled open. A colossal ship, or was it a creature, emerged from a burning fracture in space. Its hide resembled a nightmare's anatomy. Black chitin plates fused with shrieking mouths and eyes that dripped shadow. The first Oblivion Swarm, dread beast. Screaming metal tentacles speared the citadel shields. Dravic salamanders belched star fire. Sultai beetle knights charged in formation. It was like watching insects bite a god. Reyes pointed toward the hangar. Move, we need weapons online. Singh dashed ahead, gun in hand. Lyndon followed slower, recording sensors detecting physics bending wrong around the enemy. They're warping memory, he gasped. They're erasing cause and effect. Chunks of stone dissolved into fog, never having existed. A Charik commander was bitten, and the soldiers around him forgot he had ever been there. Captain, Lyndon yelled. They consume history. Reyes didn't stop. We fight anyway. The human solution inside the armory, an arsenal of alien weaponry locked behind genetic access codes, the systems denied them. Unauthorized species, an AI chanted. Singh grinned. Good thing humans cheat. He smashed the panel open, tore out control chips, and hot-wired alien power cells together with his stun baton. Sparks flew. Circuits screamed. Tamal, Lyndon asked nervously. Are you sure? A thunderous pop, and the vault unlocked. Singh wiped soot from his face. See, problem solving. Even Reyes clapped him on the back. Deathworlder ingenuity. They armed themselves. Reyes, a shoulder-mounted rail cannon. Singh, dual graviton shock gauntlets. Lyndon, a psionic disruption prism. Let's give the galaxy a survival lesson, Reyes growled. War for existence. They leapt into the chaos. Deathworld armies clashed with impossible abominations. Every injury, every explosion risked being undone, as if they never happened. A Sultai knight stabbed a swarmling, and forgot why his blade was bloody. Reyes saw the problem. They're winning because their victims stop believing they're fighting. Human minds, stubborn, self-contradictory, fueled by trauma, were immune to memory rewriting. Lyndon confirmed it. Our neurochemistry is too chaotic. We don't erase pain, we cling to it. Flaws became strength. Agnes became weapon. Reyes charged through dissolving debris and fired the rail cannon into the dread beast's central eye. Shadow blood rained acidic droplets. It screamed, not in pain, but surprise. Singh punched swarmlings into glitching piles of static. Lyndon's prism cracked psychic waves like glass. The aliens of the summit saw it all. Their doubts died. Follow the humans. A Dravic bellowed. Humans lead, roared the Charik. The tide turned. The gate of no return. The dread beast split open, revealing a vortex within, a portal to the Oblivion dimension. Reality itself was bleeding through. Reyes knew what had to be done. Tamal, Arthur, we close that gate. Lyndon swallowed. How? Same human way we do everything. She pointed the cannon at the core. We kick the door shut. The three formed a triangle, their weapons sinking, their breaths shaking. Countless Deathworld warriors surrounded them, protecting their tiny, fragile center of defiance. Reyes shouted, "For every species that refuses to die, fire." Their combined strike hit the core. Reality cracked like an eggshell. Oblivion shrieked, denied its feast. And the portal imploded into pure white silence. The dread beast collapsed, dissolving into nothingness, taking its impossible biome with it. The sky cleared. Tsar Prime lived. What humanity proved the battlefield was scorched, smoking, but real. Creatures of armor and psychic power stared at the three panting, bleeding humans, their soft bodies enforcing a cosmic miracle. The high chair approached. You endure pain, you survive fear, but most of all, you refuse to be erased. It lowered its massive head, a gesture of reverence never shown in Deathworld history. All Deathworlders bow to no one, it declared, except those who teach survival a new meaning. Cheers erupted. A galaxy roared approval. Singh laughed exhaustedly. We lived. Lyndon almost collapsed. We really lived. Reyes smiled at her brothers in arms. No, she corrected quietly. We earned life. The Deathworld Pact, eternal later, in the Summit Hall reborn as a celebration chamber, the great species of the galaxy presented Earth with the crown of survival, an honor once reserved only for apex predators with millennia of history. Dravik fireband choirs chanted. Exeri psychic symphonies shimmered. Sultai armor wings clattered in ritual salute. Reyes stood before the galaxy, humbled and unbroken. We humans don't know when to quit, she said. That's our curse, and our advantage. She raised the crown. We will fight beside you. Learn beside you. Build a future where no star dies alone. The summit chanted as one. Humans. 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 For the first time in the stars, humanity wasn't underestimated. They were admired, feared, chosen. Final scene, a human truth later, in their shuttle back to orbit, Singh stared out at the glowing stars. So we're Deathworlders now, he said. Dr. Lyndon smirked. I'd say we're the apex of the apex. Reyes watched those stars too, each one a promise. They invited humans, she whispered. And that was the smartest mistake they ever made. Earth's emblem shone on their flight consoles, a stubborn blue dot declaring existence. Humanity was no longer a rumor, no longer prey, no longer alone. We were here, we would be remembered, and we would never, ever, stop. The end.